It's the Bulls Podcast, Episode 5.
Both of us extremely hard workers that didn't really matter. The guys that maybe we're being compared to or guys that were being looked on over, we just kind of put our head down and work. And I feel like that's valuable at every level. Obviously, we both understand being a rookie, there's going to be a lot of work that we're going to have to do. And first, I'm just willing to do whatever it takes to see the floor and continue to show what I can do.
Welcome to the Bulls Podcast, coming to you from bullspodcast.com. This is where we'll be bringing you the latest news, reviews, rants, rumors, and opinions on the players, coaches, and front office of the Chicago Bulls. I'm your host, Marcus Couch, and with me is our co-host, Mr. Wise Black.
Yo. What's up? What's good with all of my Bull lifers out there, man? Hey, yo. So I'm just trying to make sure that my energy is high so I can stay hyped about this coming season. With it being so dead this offseason, it can get a little depressing. So I hope we can pump you all up just to remain ready, because it should be nothing short of an exciting basketball season next year. Let's go.
And we've got a lot in store for you this episode, including NBA Rookie Survey. It's out, and the rookies think that the Bulls' Wendell Carter Jr. is going to have the best career amongst the entire draft class. We'll go over some of our favorite Bulls games on the schedule this coming year. Christiano Felicio responds to my calling him out for not posting workouts on social media. We continue our expectations for each Bulls player. This week, we're going to wrap it up and cover all the small forwards for Chicago. And as always, we've got some fun trades to think about using the ESPN trade machine. We'll get to all that right after this. All right, we're back. And as I mentioned in the onset, Wendell Carter Jr. was voted by NBA rookies to have the best career amongst all the 2018 draft picks in the league's annual rookie survey that John Schumann of the NBA.com put together. Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton, the number 1 overall pick, and Cleveland's point guard Colin Sexton, who was number 8, were picked to be the co-rookies of the year. They each received 18% of the votes, respectively, but even though the Bulls may have missed out on players like DeAndre Ayton or Luka Doncic, the rookies of the NBA feel that Wendell Carter Jr. may actually have the most potential out of all of them. They voted him to have the best career. It's clear that the newest players see their potential in Carter, and this is just a confirmation of what we've already seen from Wendell Carter Jr. during the summer. It's important, though, that you take those results with a grain of salt. Since the survey was first conducted back in 2007, rookies have actually only predicted the actual rookie of the year just one time out of 9 attempts, and that was Kevin Durant in 2007. But it's still great news for Bulls fans long-term as we focus on the rebuilding of the Bulls' core players, and it's nice to see that Wendell Carter is getting the recognition and respect from his draft classmates going forward. Wise, did you happen to catch any of that?
For me, with Wendell Carter Jr. being voted to have the best overall career by his peers, it just tells me that they actually respect his game. And as you said, Marcus, they also see the high upside in him, which so many NBA associates and so-called analysts don't, or at least didn't prior to the summer league games. Having a ceiling player comp of Al Horford isn't necessarily a knock against Wendell Carter Jr., but it is putting a really tight lid on his game and staying along the lines of save to good, but not great player, meaning borderline all-star, but far from a superstar. Now, the reason I now slightly disagree with this player comp is because Wendell Carter Jr. has a more polished game coming into the league than Al Horford had in terms of just being an all-around player. Al Horford didn't begin taking threes until his 8th season in the NBA, and he wasn't a superb shot blocker either, with the career average of just 1 block per game. Now, granted, Wendell Carter Jr. has yet to play a game in the NBA, but if we're talking upside, the Rook has a great chance of being a much better player than Al Horford once their careers are over, due to Wendell Carter Jr.'s three-point shooting ability, superior athleticism, and veteran-like feel for the game at just 19 years of age. I think the Rooks were right with this vote, and it's just saying a lot because the number 1 pick in DeAndre Ayton plays the same position.
Absolutely right. As much as a lot of us Bulls fans are pained to say it, Gar Forman and John Paxson did a number. They picked the right one out of the draft this year. Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
we can't
Yeah.
knock them this time.
No, not yet. Let's see what they can do as far as trades, but I think so far they've kind of redeemed themselves this year. We're going to talk about the Bulls schedule. Now, the full Bulls schedule is out. We actually talked about some preseason stuff in shows past, looking forward to different matchups, but we picked out some that we think are actually going to be really great games. So let's go through a couple here. And Wise, I know you picked some and I picked some, so we got a bunch here. The first one, obviously, every Bulls fan is looking forward to October 18th. If you're a Bulls fan and you don't have October 18th, 2018 circled on your calendar, I don't know what's wrong with you. That's opening night against the Philadelphia 76ers. Naturally, this is going to be the litmus test for the long season to come. We're going to try and gauge what everybody's doing on this one game. I know that's a little crazy to think that, but, Philadelphia is a great team. And they're a playoff team, and that's somebody that's the new East powerhouse, along with Boston and maybe one other that we're going to have to deal with. So it's not Cleveland anymore. It's going to be some other things. It won't be Miami, and it's not going to be any of those. So we're just going to have to find some new rivalries. So this 76ers rivalry, both 76ers have not had a rivalry like this since the old Charles Barkley days when he was just starting out, against the young Bulls of the day. And this is going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot of excitement for the new season, and I bet you we're at a listener peak by that time, too. It's going to be great. So what are you looking forward to most about seeing the Bulls versus the 76ers this year? You think it's going to be off the hook or what?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy. I know a lot of people are going to doubt the Bulls in terms of like maybe going up against the Sixers, but for me, it's going to be a very intriguing game just because I think that Wendell Carter Jr. can handle Joel Embiid. Now, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself by saying Wendell Carter Jr. because obviously Robin Lopez may start, but I'm going to be watching the matchup of Wendell Carter Jr. versus Joel Embiid. I really want to see how he handles that monster. Just because Wendell Carter Jr., if you ask me, he looks so ready, man. And I know that, we keep repeating this, but he just looks so NBA ready to me. And I think he's going to come in and have a decent game against the star in Joel Embiid. I don't expect Chris Dunn to guard Ben Simmons, but I do look for that point guard matchup as well. I'm really excited to see what Chris Dunn can do against the Philadelphia 76ers and even Jabari Parker. I think that they may have Jabari Parker guarding Ben Simmons or something like that. So I'm really just looking at it for like the young player matchups. I think it should definitely be a dope game.
I want 5 minutes of Antonio Blakeney against Ben Simmons.
How could I forget about that one? Hell yeah.
Just give me 5 minutes in between timeouts of those two going at it. I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. All right. So then we got another game about 10 days later. The Golden State Warriors, the Dubs, are going to invade the UC, and despite the matchup is going to be really early in the season, the new look Bulls are going to be kind of trying to hold their own against the defending champs, even if it's just a momentary speed bump in the Warriors' march towards their own three-peat. I think it's going to really be something cool to watch.
No, it should be. Hopefully the Bulls don't just get blown out of the water.
Make a good showing. That's all we're asking.
Exactly. It depends on the Warriors' energy early on. You know what I mean? This will be a game that's very, very early into the season. So it may be one that we can look at to expect what to see from both teams, later in the year. And the Bulls, they'll just have a chance to go up against the best team in the NBA, and we really get to see what they're made of.
All right, so you got a couple here that you want to bring. What do you got?
So I have a game at the UC with the Bulls going against the Suns on November 21st. I'm going to make sure I tune into this one because I'm intrigued by the Suns team of young, talented players like Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, Mikal Bridges, and, of course, DeAndre Ayton. Got to watch him. This matchup will determine the best of the two young teams with a lot of new faces, and hopefully the number 1 and the number 7 picks can go at it. because if Wendell Carter Jr. can get a start, it'll definitely make it all the better.
That's going to be a great one. And then you got one just a week later from that, huh?
Yeah. Next, I have the Bulls at the Bucks. Now, obviously, this will be a great game to tune into just because of Jabari Parker going back to Milwaukee. Like, I absolutely can't wait for this game just to see what kind of on the court attitude Jabari Parker comes in with. I'm pretty sure Giannis will get up for this game as well to show Jabari that the Bucks front office was right to build around him instead of the former number 2 overall pick.
It's like a meeting of the 2 alpha lions in the desert or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Lopez brothers are going to be going at it for the first time.
Yeah, Brooke is over there now. That should be decent too. Yeah,
that's going to be fun.
One more. I got one
Oh
more.
yeah.
And I couldn't leave this one out. At the United Center, the Bulls versus the Kings, December 10th, 2018. Now, in this one, I'm willing to bet the 2 former teammates will be looking to go at each other on both ends of the floor. After this year's NBA Summer League, I'm pretty sure Marvin Bagley heard a lot of people apologizing for putting him above Wendell Carter Jr. in the draft due to Wendell Carter Jr.'s surprisingly impressive Summer League play. I know this can't sit well with Marvin Bagley, and he's going to show up on December 10th with a chip on his shoulder. I'm willing to bet.
Very interesting. Yeah, I can't wait for that matchup. And yeah, I tune into every game. I know you do too. So I mean,
yeah, all of them. I watched every game last season.
These are just the ones. Yeah, me too. These are just the ones that we highlight here. And so we're gonna end it out. This will be a nice post-Christmas treat. Hopefully, there's one last present under the tree, and that's that the Bulls kick the Minnesota Timberwolves' ass. And last year's matchup between these two teams, I mean, it was an epic battle. This was such a fun game, probably the most fun game of the year for me. Zach LaVine and Jimmy Butler going at it. Even though Butler kind of won the statistics battle, the Bulls overcame a 17-point deficit thanks to LaVine doing 15 points in the fourth quarter for the late win, including those last second 3 free throws to win it all. What will round 2 of this matchup? It's the rematch, the post-Christmas rematch. How is Jabari Parker versus Jimmy Butler matchup? How's that going to play out? What about Wendell Carter Jr. versus Karl Anthony Towns? Dude, this is going to be a game to remember for the entire season. I can't wait for this one.
Nah, it definitely will be. Like you said, I can't wait to see what Wendell Carter Jr. does against Cat. I can't wait to see what Lauri Markkanen does against Bulls legend and Taj Gibson, Jabari Parker and Jimmy Butler going at it. But you know what? I bet you Jimmy Butler, he's not even going to be thinking about Jabari. I know he has to be salivating at just the opportunity to get back at Zach LaVine for last season when Zach put up 35 on him. You know what I'm saying? And just snatched that game from him. I know he's looking to go back at Zach.
Just like us, he told reporters, he's like, yeah, I got that game circled on my calendar.
Exactly. Man, he wasn't ready for Zach. Zach came out and punched him in the grill. And I'm hoping that he can do the same come next game that they play.
All right, Santa, bring us something nice for the day after. Give us a nice win.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that does it for the previews of some of the schedule stuff that we got coming on. What do you think is one of your favorite games? Hey, reach out in social and let us know. We made it pretty easy to find us via social media. We're a pretty new show, so remember, we need all of your support. Here's how you can find us. Go to bullspodcast.com/social, or if you just want to cut out the bull right now and go to bullspodcast.com/Twitter/Facebook/YouTube/Instagram, all of it. We got all of it right there for you. Made it really easy for you to find us.
And also, to subscribe to the show, just go to bullspodcast.com/subscribe, where we have links to all the platforms. As Marcus just said, follow the Bulls Podcast and spread the word, man. We appreciate you for listening, and thank you for the help. Legit.
Okay, we're going to get back to our expectations for all the small forwards in just a minute, but I do want to bring to light a reaction that I received on Instagram a few days ago. Listeners to the show, you might remember that I kind of called out Cristiano Felicio for not posting any workout pics. It's also this, okay? while I'm seeing the Instagram and social feeds of all the other Bulls players, and they're all bulking up, they're all hitting the gym, they're all playing pickup games. What do I see on Felicio's thing? He's just living the life, man. He's hanging out in Brazil, going to weddings, going to this, going to that. Not one mention, not one image, not one video of Cristiano put in the work. Not even a picture of a weight. Nothing. What do you think? What's it going to take?
No, man. That is not wholly true. Not wholly true. I saw him throwing a Frisbee at the Advocate Center.
I'm sorry. I take it back. Frisbee. Well, I made the same comment directly to Felicio on his own Instagram page, and he responded to me. In essence, I called him out and I said, look, man, I see all these pictures of you on vacation and sipping wine and pimping your coffee and all that, but I don't ever see you working out. You're never getting it in, man. Every other Bull I see getting it in, you're not getting it in. But I did it lovingly. I'm like, we need you, man. We're counting on you. Get your ass in the gym. And he replied back. Here's what he said. If you follow the @Chicago Bulls on Instagram, they posted plenty of pictures of my workouts. Just saying, shrug. Point taken, Cristiano. I did apologize. I told them that we do get emotional as Bulls fans and that we're counting on him to step it up this year. So let's see if he actually comes through. But I wanted to talk about this on the show because I want to tell you listeners, Wise is a fan. Marcus is a fan. We are Bulls fans. We're not announcers. We're not anything except fans. This is a show by fans and for fans. So I hope that everybody appreciates that we put our money where our microphone is. Right?
Hey, all the time, man. Like exactly what you said. This is a pod for the fans, man. But yo, that was just absolutely hilarious. Like, just the fact that he felt the need to respond shows that these players read and hear what's said about them, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you aren't the first person to at him while being critical of his game. So hopefully, with all of Bulls Nation letting Felicio know how we feel about his lack of production on the court, he'll use it as motivation to take his game to the next level come this season. Like, I think I'm going to at him next just to keep it going, man.
We're going to be all right, fans. Listen, this is our new job. We are now all Cristiano Felicio's trainer. Okay,
there you go.
It's our job to get him motivated and get him working out. So anybody who lives by the Advocate Center or by the United Center, maybe you might want to, offer to be his timer for him, running laps, or maybe his pace person. That you guys can all take shifts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we want him to get better, and if he does get better this year, then I'm going to take credit for doing it because of the Instagram.
As you should, man. As you should.
All right.
Because you might be the first one he responded to. So
that's true. All right. Well, we had fun with that. We will be right back with all the player expectations for the Chicago Bulls small forwards. All right, we're back, and we've got some cool things to end the show with here. We got player expectations for all of the Chicago Bulls small forwards. For the last 4 shows, we've been evaluating the team player by player, position by position. And as you recall, we've covered all the guards, we've covered the centers, we've covered the power forwards. And this week, we're going to wrap it all up and evaluate all the small forwards. So let's start it off with the unlikeliest of small forwards, Jabari Parker. The Chicago Bulls signed Jabari Parker this offseason to a 2-year, $40 million deal, with the second year of the deal being a team option. The Bulls' plan for Parker is for him to be the starting small forward going forward. While some fans have doubted that Jabari has the athletic prowess and ability to play the 3, it was his natural position in high school and at Duke. Jabari also brings back much-needed stability to the small forward position. Last year, Denzel Valentine had some reps at the 3 as well as Justin Holiday, but if Parker can stay healthy, he has some serious potential in being one of the top 3s in the Eastern Conference. He's got enough athleticism and scoring talent to bully just about any of the smaller small forwards, and he has enough scoring ability to hang with the elite in the position. Though listeners and social media fans have gotten to see the work that Jabari's been putting in this offseason, it seems to be that Jabari is actually slimming down a bit to get leaner and to gain quickness to prepare for the small forward position full time, just as we've said on this very podcast when news of that trade happened. Now, another plus of having Jabari in the starting lineup is he actually fits into Fred Hoiberg's pace and space system very nicely. Having a wing that can shoot threes, put the ball on the floor, that's going to benefit Fred Hoiberg's offense tremendously. Only time is going to tell how Jabari truly fits in with this team, but it's nice to see a very young, high-ceiling player get a second chance with his hometown team.
What I expect from Jabari Parker playing at the 3 for us is obviously scoring. I'm hoping that he'll be a mismatch for opposing players on most nights, given his size that allows him to play bully ball, as you said, and pin smaller guys in the post, or even use his nice speed to take defenders off the dribble and showcase some of the guard-like moves I've seen him do before. As you mentioned, he also looks to be slimming down, so that should help even more in terms of his speed and quickness. Also, I expect him to be a help rebounder and playmaker in transition, seeing that Fred wants to have a fast-paced offense. I see Jabari crashing the defensive boards and instantly pushing the ball up the floor as a point forward type. I think he should just play within the offense, man. He's going to be a go-to scorer, so he'll have plenty of opportunities to do his thing. And as for defense, I expect the Bulls to do a lot of switching, so he'll have some help there. I just expect Jabari to be a team player and have his guys' backs by actually putting forth effort to guard his men and play help defense when needed. Like, if he can do that and actually work on that end, I won't have any complaints.
Nope, not at all. All right, Denzel Valentine. Now, he was the 14th overall pick in the 2016 draft. When he was a rook, he did great in Summer League. He hit the winning shot, right? That won us the Summer League championship. It was a moment to be hailed. D-Wade Twittered him and said, "I see you, son. I see what you're doing." We all thought, oh, man, this is going to be fantastic. But he pulled no punches regarding his unhappiness about being in and out of the starting lineup for the Bulls last season. In fact, he sent a message to the coaching staff and front office that said, "I feel like I should have a stronger and bigger role next year. I definitely should be a starter coming in. I definitely want to improve and be a for sure starter on this team." Now, it took a couple months, but the Bulls' reply did come. And it came last month when they drafted Chandler Hutchinson and Jabari Parker and dropped Denzel even further down the rotation chart. And then there was the Drew League moment, right? That was an even further slap to the face. So I'm not here to bash Denzel Valentine. We all want him to succeed as long as he's wearing a Bulls uniform.
Exactly.
He may be able to play some two-guard stuff because of his playmaking, but obviously he's going to be behind Zach LaVine there. Parker's going to hold down the small forward spot as far as a starter. There's no idea of that. So anything that Denzel thought he could do in training camp to try and fill what looked to be a vacancy, that's already over. That battle is already fought and done. So what do we expect from Denzel this season? My opinion is that he'll be moved to another team soon. He perhaps would like to take his talents to South Beach and spend the last remaining year of Dwayne Wade's career with his mentor. Why not? Denzel's future with the Bulls is already foreseen, and he's not in it.
Yo, like that's a pretty strong take on him not being with the team.
But here's the thing: when you're the third guy in the rotation and you're already a third-year guy, where is there to go?
Yeah, no, I feel you. C-Red Fred probably won't be happy about that take, but I feel you. I'm with you. But no. But for me, now with Denzel, I kind of view him more as a two guard as well instead of a three, because he's listed as 6'6", but he plays like he's 6'4", which is his which is his actual height without shoes, according to the NBA Combine notes of 2016. Now, I get that he played the 3 for us last year because we were short on that position, but he's naturally a 2 if you ask me. But for the sake of the Bulls lacking at the 3, cool, whatever, I understand. But what I expect from him is to continue his decent playmaking ability as a point forward for the bench and to knock down the 3 ball consistently, and especially on those open catch and shoot opportunities. I think he was our best shooter last season, shooting 38% from 3. So I expect that percentage to go up by like 2% or at least stay the same, because the Bulls should have more talent on the bench next season with the 2 new rookies and Bobby Portis. I know Denzel want to start, but he's way too much of a liability on the defensive end, no matter if he's playing the 2 or the 3 position. And looking at his on-ball defense this summer in the Drew League against street ball players, nitty. It doesn't help his case for becoming a better defender anytime soon. So I hope he can improve on both ends of the floor, but if not, at least continue to do more of what we saw last season on offense. At least give us that, Denzel.
And I'm not trying to cap on Denzel whatsoever. I want him to succeed. But if he's not going to be in the rotation and he's not going to get minutes, I want him to go to a team where he can, and he can have a longer career than just, riding the pine here in the UC.
But, I think he will get minutes come next season. It'll just be off the bench. Like he put up pretty decent numbers last season, so you can't knock him too much. And we don't have a ton of strong defenders, so you can't even knock him there either. But I think he'll be the starting 2 guard or 3.
Okay.
I mean starting. I mean bench, coming off the bench.
Bench, yeah. Okay, reserve, the top reserve. I get you. All right, and finally, we've got Chandler Hutchison. Hutch is on. That's my moniker. So if you see T-shirts out there, you know where it came from, and I should be getting money for that. So should you, Wise. Okay, even though Hutchinson's coming off a solid collegiate campaign, producing at the NBA level is actually going to be a lot more difficult for him. If he hopes to see meaningful minutes, here's a couple things that he'll need to focus on for this upcoming season. All right, 3-point shooting. Chandler shot a career best 37.7% from deep in his junior season and a little downtick of about 36% from 3-point range last season. As long as he can continue shooting the long ball at a more respectable rate, let's just say 40s to mid 40s in 3-point range, he should have little trouble carving out a spot in the rotation. Free throws. Out of college, he's just a 69% free throw shooter. It's not horrible. It's not Shaq. But you got to pick that up, man. It's a free throw. You got to get it in there, right?
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to help you practice a free throw. Just stand on the line. It's been what you've been doing since you were probably 10 years old. Just
for sure.
Get them in there. Okay, defense. This team is sorely lacking on defense this year, and we're going to need a few guys to step it up in their defensive roles. Hutch's numbers have improved every season. He's got I'm talking college here. He's got a respectable 1.5 steals per outing last season, 1.9 steals based on a 40-minute scale while he was in college. And he only allowed 0.78 points per isolation possession. That means if he's guarding somebody, what's the average points that gets scored on him per possession? That's less than a point. That's pretty good. And in fact, it placed him in the 51st percentile in his category. Not too bad. He's in the top half. Now, while it's hard to predict how well he can defend at the NBA level due to playing in such a zone scheme for 4 years in college, Hutch does have the length. So he can be a disruptive force on that end of the floor. Let's just hope he can improve the Bulls' overall defensive rating, because that's really what we're looking for.
So for me, I think the Rook can actually come in and help the team right away, depending on how quickly the Bulls can move Justin Holiday. And I say that because Chandler Hutchison seems like one of those players who gets better with more reps. His collegiate stats from his freshman all the way to his senior year is pure evidence of my statement. Just looking at his freshman to sophomore stats, they're mediocre to say the least, but he still made leaps each year. From his junior to senior years, he bumped up his scoring by 3 points from 17 to 20 points per game. His assists from 2.6 to 3.5 a game. Free throw attempts from 5 to 7 per game. And three-point attempts from 2 to 4 while staying close to the same percentage but shooting it twice as much. So if the Bulls move Justin Holiday and open up the backup small forward spot for Hutch is on, I think he could develop a decent three-point shot and be a great slasher while helping on the glass on both ends of the floor. I don't expect him to have a huge role, but I do think he can surprise some people if given the opportunity and possibly even make second team all rookie. I think he has that potential if he can get the opportunity.
You're Fred Hoiberg right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Games, we're down by like 10. Okay. And third quarter, you're going to your bench. Your guys are winded. Who are you going to put in, Hutch or Denzel?
I would probably go with Denzel just because he actually knows how to run the offense. But it also depends on who's on the floor with Denzel. If you have other players on the floor like Ryan Arcidiacono, Jabari, other players who can't play a lick of defense either, then hell no, I'm going with Hutch. But if we have some decent defenders on the floor, I'll throw in Denzel Valentine at this point in time.
And that does it for all of our player expectations this season. We're going to actually save all of these and refer back to them at the midway point in the season to see if the players have lived up to our expectations. So
that should be fun.
Little time machine that we're going to be doing here. And in 4 months or so, we'll check it again and see how good our aim was at the time. All right, we'll be back to talk about some intriguing new Chicago Bulls trade ideas right after this quick timeout. Okay, we're back, and we've got some more potential Chicago Bulls trades for the 2018-2019 season. This is all found on ESPN.com/NBA/trade machine. It's a fun little game that we like to play with you, the listeners, and trade some of our most prized and respected Bulls players to other teams and see what we can get, right? It's kind of a fun, guilty pleasure. So out of the gate, I'll go ahead and give you mine. I did a 3-way trade for the very first time using the trade machine, and I traded with the Hornets and the Lakers. And this one's a little complex, but here we go. The Bulls get Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram from the Lakers. Charlotte gets Robin Lopez, and the Lakers get Kemba Walker and Justin Holiday. This would give the Bulls a very strong point guard rotation. So now you've got Chris Dunn, and you've also got Lonzo Ball running the point. That's going to be a great matchup in terms of who's going to fight for that the hardest, who's going to play defense for that the hardest. But man, what a 1-2 punch that would be. We also add Brandon Ingram as a solid option at small forward to rotate with Jabari Parker. And also, he can swing in with Bobby Portis as well. Ball is on a 3-year deal and Ingram is on a 2-year deal. Now that means we get to keep both of these guys for a couple of years, or if they don't perform, you can actually trade them again. Saying you've got a multi-year deal piece that goes to other people. That's pretty cool because it still gives us a little cap room that we can sign a max contract for somebody to join the Bulls next year. And if we got rid of Jabari Parker, if he doesn't perform the way that we expect him, then we've got even more. So this makes a lot of sense. The Lakers would get an immediate upgrade at the 1 with Kemba Walker to play with LeBron. And Walker's on a 1-year deal, so they're not committed long-term to his $12 million salary. They get a solid vet in Justin Holiday as well. I'm sure he'd fit very well, actually, as a Laker. It also frees up the Lakers with 2 multi-year contracts, which they unload to the Bulls. And they'll need to do that if LeBron's past history of blowing up pieces around him maintains its general and usual course. Now, Charlotte, they get Robin Lopez to help with the 5 spot to play with Bismack Biyombo. The pair would actually make kind of a killer duel. They would make a killer duo in Charlotte with a lot of experience between them. Overall, I think this trade would help all the teams and give the Bulls some decent young pieces for their rebuild. If they work out, they can stay here for a few more years, but as I mentioned, if not, we have some good names to include in a trade package for next year.
Yeah, man, my man, you are a Bulls homer for real. Like, I don't know if it's like, because this depends. Like, I don't know if you're like low on Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, and or
I'm
if
not
you're
the only
like
one.
high on Robin Lopez, like or and high on Justin Holiday. Like for me, like yeah, Robin Lopez is a very, very solid player, and I actually like him. Like I actually really like him for the Bulls as well, just not in front of Wendell Carter Jr. But I don't know if like Charlotte would be cool with giving up Kemba for Robin Lopez. That's the only one that like I'm like I don't know about. But with the Lakers receiving Kemba Walker, that's obviously a win for them. He's better than Lonzo Ball right now. And plus, Kemba isn't too old. I think he's around 27. Plus, LeBron James likes to play with more like veteran guys, and as well in Justin Holiday. I think he would be the perfect 3-and-D player for them, and you know he has a nice percentage from three as well. So those two pickups for LA would be very nice. And with the Bulls receiving Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, I think. So I'm really high on Brandon Ingram. I really like Brandon Ingram. I think he has a ton of potential. So I feel like in a way we almost win the trade between the three teams. So I'm definitely not mad at it. And even with Lonzo Ball, he and Chris Dunn running the backcourt, I think that it's a really decent trade. I just don't know about Charlotte taking Robin Lopez for Kemba Walker. All right, now with me, I have the Bulls trading with the Sacramento Kings, giving up Justin Holiday for Ben McLemore. Now, my thinking behind this trade is to simply move Justin Holiday so we can free up minutes for Chandler Hutchison. I'm not saying that we shouldn't use Ben McLemore at all, but he hasn't shown that he can be anything more than an average player in the NBA. I don't expect much from him because during his 4 years in the league, he's averaged 9 points per game, which isn't horrible for a bench player, but on 41% shooting and an effective field goal percentage of 49%, which is low. He also averages for his career 1.2 assists, 2 rebounds, 78% free throw shooting, and 35% from the three. So he isn't absolutely trash to where he can't play in the league, which is why maybe he just needs a change of scenery to open up his game. But if he doesn't pan out, he's only on a 1-year deal, so we could cut him loose after the coming season. What do you think?
Well, to me, this trade is like just saying, here, you throw this out. It's just, It seems like we're just getting rid of the pieces we don't want anymore for their pieces they don't want anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But my thinking is like, okay, the Kings, they actually get a solid veteran in Justin Holiday. Like he'll actually go over there and contribute, and, a lot of people, they put a lot of weight into mentorship and all of that, as a veteran. So they get a mentor as well. But the Bulls, they'll be receiving a young player in McLemore, who he coming into the league, he was actually said to be a really good player. A lot of people expected him to be a really good player. I'm not sure where he was drafted, but Ben McLemore actually he was touted to have a lot of potential coming out of college. So maybe, he's like one of those players who just needs a change of scenery, man, and maybe he can come on, and do something under Coach Fred Hoiberg. But like I said, it's mainly to just free up minutes for Chandler Hutchison, and that's all.
And we're paying an extra $1 to do it. Oh, man.
But you're getting a young player. But hey, it is what it is. Trade machine stuff, man.
I got it. Well, you let us know out there what you think of these trades. And just hit us up at bullspodcast.com/contact. We've actually got a voicemail section that's going up on there. We got an email contact form, so you can hit us up there. Tell us what you think. Leave us some voicemail. We got a lot more other ways to contact us that'll be coming soon on the show as soon as the preseason starts. But for now, let us know what you think of these fictional trade machine trades. All right, we're back. And Wise, you got any closing thoughts here as we close out episode number 5?
So I hope y'all are enjoying this podcast as much as we're enjoying making it for you. I know we're super dry right now because of the off season, but I believe we have a little under a month before NBA basketball kicks back into gear. So let's try to be patient. And when that time comes, we'll have a lot more content and cool things coming out. So let's stick in there, Bulls Nation. And also, I'm on social media now, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @radical_creator for both platforms, and make sure to join the Bulls Podcast Facebook group.
Look, man, 5 shows. We've been doing this now for 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and let's reflect on it, okay? Next week, we're going to have more guests joining the show. So we had Fred Pfeiffer, with the longest running Bulls podcaster that there is. He's had nearly 400 shows, right? So Crazy. He was our first guest. We had him on last episode. For episode 6, we're going to have Big Dave and Chris C-Dub from Ball on Bulls.
That was pretty good.
I know. I do it every time. Every time I listen to it, I scream out like that. To me, man, that's going to be incredible. Those guys are so funny. They're so knowledgeable, and they're so chill and laid back. I can't wait for next week to happen. That's going to be awesome.
Same here, man. Those seem like really cool dudes. Can't wait to have them all.
And it's, and I'm saying all this stuff just kind of off the cuff now because you guys have been listening for this whole show. So now you're going to get rewarded with the little treats here and there. We're going to give you some of the secret stuff of what's coming. I've talked to some legends, Bulls legends and Chicago sports broadcaster legends, and they've agreed to come on this show, which floors me. I mean, it really does. And I actually contacted a lot of the agents of the players, so we're really hopeful that we're going to get players to come on this show as well. Wise and I have got so many cool things that are planned for this podcast, for stuff to do post game, for interacting with you, the fan. And as I said earlier on in this show, Wise and I are just 2 Bulls fans that join together to make something really cool for the other Bulls fans, and that's what we're doing.
That's it. That's all, baby. Yeah, man. Like you said, man, I can't wait to have these special guests come on, just fellow Bulls fans as we all are. And even those guys, some of the guys that you were telling me about as well, as far as the historian, like the guy who, started the whole radio
thing. Chet Kopic. Yeah, it's Chet Kopic. Anybody who's a Chicago Bulls fan probably knows Chet Kopic. He was on, going back to Sports Vision, he was on, I listened to him on WLUP AM 1000 back in the day when he did Kopic on Sports. He is the originator of sports talk radio. Without Chet Kopic, there's no Bulls podcast. It ain't happening, So we got to acknowledge the godfather of sports talk.
And it amazes me how easily Marcus gets these guys on.
It's dude. Not hard. That's the thing. All you have to do is ask. You want to come on our show and talk Bulls? Because I know that you love the Bulls as much as we love the Bulls, and it's an easy answer every single time.
Awesome.
All right, everybody.
Gonna get fed, right?
That's right. That's right. Remember, everybody, subscribe to the show. Go to bullspodcast.com/subscribe. Get all the links to where we are. We're now on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want. So, hey, I'm going to try. I can't do it with my phone, but you can ask Siri to subscribe you to the Bulls Podcast, and half the time it'll actually work. So check that out. Go to bullspodcast.com/iTunes or /Apple. It goes to the same place. It goes to our iTunes link. So check that out. And while you're there, subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Give us your feedback. Tell us what you like about the show. We totally appreciate your help. Until then, thanks for listening, everybody. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls, baby.